Hello, everyone. I'm Dwayne Bonifer in the Lindsey Wilson University Office of Public Relations, and this is The View from the Hill, the podcast of Lindsey Wilson University. Every week during the academic year, The View from the Hill features conversations with some of the people who help create the dynamic living, learning environment that serves the educational needs of every Lindsey Wilson student every day. In this 10th podcast of the 2025-2026 school year, we'll learn about the inaugural Career Week. That's coming up on November 3rd through the 7th. Lindsey Wilson University students will get a sneak peek at what might be the other end of their college education during the week of November 3rd through the 7th. That's when the university will bring more than 36 guests to campus as part of Career Week 2025. Sponsored by the Lindsey Wilson Office of Career Services in partnership with the Lindsey Wilson Alumni Office, the 5 days will include panel discussions about a myriad of career possibilities that are open by a Lindsey Wilson education. It will also include a graduate and professional school fair and a business etiquette dinner. Joining me to discuss Lindsey Wilson's Career Week is Lindsey Wilson Director of Career Services, Annissa Crewe-Brown, along with Director of Alumni Relations, Allison. Annissa, let's start with you. Where did you get the idea for Career Week?
So as I was planning the upcoming academic year over the summer, I looked back at my previous career fairs and I just noticed that the students weren't as engaged in the traditional career fairs as they had been in the past. And so I wanted to do something different this year, and I really wanted to still give them the opportunity to engage with employers and engage with graduate schools, but in a meaningful way. And that's kind of where it developed to do some panel discussions, and from there it just developed into a whole week, so that we could group certain majors together and have a different panel discussion with different representatives every day. So I then went to Allison with the idea, and we kind of got excited about it because it was a perfect opportunity for us to engage alumni into that, and kind of soft launch the alumni mentoring network, into that. And so I just thought that there was perfect idea for us to collaborate on that, and Allison has done a fantastic job in recruiting people for the panel discussions.
Allison, when you talk about successful careers, a lot of Lindsey Wilson alumni come to mind. Who are some of the alumni that will be here during Career Week, and what kind of careers will they represent?
So Annissa did a really good job of breaking up the week by career field. So each day is a different career focus. The day that I'm excited about is education and public service. We have a lot of teachers who are coming, and it ranges from people who just started teaching, people who are in the administration level. We have Robbie Harmon, who has been a part of the Alumni Council for years. He works at the central office for Adair County Schools, and if you know Robbie, like, he is the life of the room. Like, he's so energetic, he's so positive and so passionate about education, and he's passionate about the kids. It's not just about a job for him. He cares about the community, and he cares about the kids in the school district and how they are impacted by today's education. Another day that I'm really excited for is careers in healthcare and allied health careers. We have a lot of our counselors who are coming, some that own businesses, some that have owned businesses for a while. So you get that double career with being a business owner and being a mental health counselor. We also have Kaylin Connor, who's originally from Albany, but she lives in Cincinnati. She works in pharmaceutical research. She actually writes up the research reports that they do on medicine that they are developing. So she has an amazing career.
As of course, all these individuals share one thing in common. They all have a Lindsey Wilson degree, yes, but they share something else in common, the Lindsey Wilson experience. Talk a little bit about how the Lindsey Wilson experience opens up so many avenues, so many options for somebody when it comes to beginning a career after Lindsey Wilson?
Yeah, actually, I believe you and I were talking about this the other day. And it all falls back to a liberal arts education. I think what people don't understand about liberal arts is that you're trained in a little bit of everything when you get that type of degree. So number one, it's the liberal arts education. For me, when I first started out, it was almost like I was a jack of all trades, because I was able to go into the workforce and do something that, wasn't my original goal, but Lindsey Wilson gave me the tools I needed to accomplish that. So I went in as a trained journalist who was a reporter, a writer, and I came in my first job and had to do graphic design. So that's completely different than writing every day. But Lindsey Wilson gave me the tools to do that. And number two, just the Lindsey Wilson experience that you talked about. Being here, I think, is unlike a lot of the larger schools. You get a lot of attention when you're here because the class sizes are so small. And the professors here genuinely care about you and the progress that you make and how you are going to enter the real world. So I think that's a major part of it as well.
Annissa's Allison talked a little bit about not all of the alumni who are going to be speaking during Career Week necessarily took a direct path to their career. Some of them took the road less traveled to get where they are. Talk about how common that is for college students after they graduate, not to necessarily take the direct path to their career, but an indirect path, and really the value of that.
I think it's a very common misconception among students that, you come to school, you study for the exact career that you want, you graduate, you start working in that career, and you climb the corporate ladder. And while some people are lucky enough to have a very, very straight path, I think most people don't get that lucky. They don't land their dream job right after college. And I think there's a lot of value in that sometimes, when the path isn't what you had hoped and what you thought it would be. At some point, you're going to have to make a decision that's a risk. And, you wouldn't have taken that risk if things didn't work out as planned, and you land an opportunity that you wouldn't have landed if you weren't taking that risk, if you weren't forced to take that risk. And so I really do think that most people travel on the windy road to get to where they want to be, but I believe that the windy road has better views.
And in this, we've mentioned that there will be 5 days of 5 panels over the week of November 3rd through the 7th. Tell us a little bit about each of those 5 panels and how you grouped them together the way you did.
Okay, so it was really hard, honestly, because I really tried to have each major be represented at least one day a week. But at the same time, students can obviously attend more than one panel discussion, and I think there's value in that, especially if they're not sure what they want to do. So it definitely was tough, but I tried my best to align each day according to more the vague passion that students have rather than specific majors. So Monday I made healthcare and allied health, and I think that one is pretty self-explanatory. Usually students come to college with a very specific passion that they want to go into healthcare in some way, shape or form. I then made Tuesday business, finance and entrepreneurship, and that's also pretty self-explanatory that made sense to group together. And I also think that business administration is one of our largest majors on our main campus, and so it made sense to give almost its own day, not to have favorites, but I think there's also so many different careers, and we do have a lot of successful alumni from that major, so it just made sense to have panel discussions, a panel discussion specifically related to that. Wednesday is STEM, sport and ministry, and I know this seems very far from each other and very distinct, but they really do share basic core values like dedication, problem solving, and very mission driven work. And so that's why I grouped them together, because they all involve a calling. Thursday, education, social sciences, public service. I think they just have so much in common by working with the public and serving the community. And so I think that students will learn how they can lead with empathy and impact if they attend that panel discussion. Lastly, creative careers, media and communication. We do also have a lot of successful alumni in those different majors, so they definitely overlap with storytelling and communication skills. So I felt like it made sense, and I'm excited for that day because I feel like it's putting emphasis on creativity and art in all of its forms.
You're listening to the Lindsey Wilson View from the Hill podcast. I'm Dwayne Bonifer in the Lindsey Wilson Office of Public Relations. I'm talking to Lindsey Wilson's Director of Career Services, Annissa Crewe-Brown, along with Director of Alumni Relations, Allison. They're telling us about Career Week 2025, which will be held the week of November 3rd through the 7th. To read more about Career Week, you can go to the news section of the Lindsey Wilson website. And to get there, you point your internet browser to lindsey.edu/news. Now let's get back to my conversation with Annissa Crewe-Brown and Allison. Annissa, you're the Director of Career Services at Lindsey Wilson. And for those folks who might be unfamiliar with that position or that office, tell us a little bit about what your role is at Lindsey Wilson.
I think it encompasses more than just reviewing resumes and facilitating mock interviews. I really try to be an office where students can come and seek advice. I had a student at the beginning of the semester, she's in her senior year, and she was about in tears, just saying like, I don't know what I want to do. And I try to be relatable in that because in my senior year, I also didn't know what I wanted to do. And, you know, the opportunity got presented to me to apply for the Director of Career Services role, and definitely not the path that I thought my life would take, but I am so grateful and I wouldn't change it for the world. I now work at an institution that has poured so much into me, and so I really try to be an office of care and try to help guide students at least on some path, knowing that it's okay if they take a left or a right turn depending on opportunities. So really just trying to encourage students to have a plan when they are in college, to build their resume around that plan. And if plans change, that's fine. At least you walk away with some transferable skills and something on your resume rather than not having a plan at all and having nothing. Just really being an office of guidance and assistance in any walk of life that you're taking.
And this, so what attracted you to Lindsey Wilson College then in the first place? And what do you enjoy most about serving at Lindsey Wilson University?
In 2019, I got contacted by Lindsey Wilson Swimming to be on their team, and I was really excited about it. I just somehow had a feeling that Lindsey was going to be the place. I got some other offers from other swim teams, but I just told my parents that I had the best feeling about Lindsey. And my dad did some research, and he was really excited about Lindsey as well, because he was excited about the fact that it was a small school that focuses on the student experience and tries to give students one-on-one guidance when possible and when needed. And so he absolutely supported my decision to come to Lindsey, and I got on a plane all by myself for the first time leaving South Africa. So came here, and I really just tried to make the most of my experience here. I got involved with the community and with campus, and I now work at an institution that I love and adore. I think that Lindsey is such a special place, and I really think that they want to pour into students as much as possible, even if students don't always feel like we do. I think it's sometimes transparent pouring that we pour into them, but I think when they look back at their experience at Lindsey, I truly think that they know that we poured into them whenever we could, and I really hope that they walk away with an experience that no other school could have given them.
Allison, you're also a graduate of Lindsey Wilson. Tell us a little bit about your journey to Lindsey Wilson as a student and then back to Lindsey Wilson as an employee.
So I originally wasn't enrolled in Lindsey for the fall semester of 2004 until like the week before. I was enrolled in Somerset Community College up until the week before school started at Lindsey. And admissions counselor Brad Tate called me. He's like, hey, you've not signed your financial aid packet yet. And he gave me my financial aid packet. It was pretty much covered, except for like $200. And the reason why I was going to Somerset is because I didn't think I could afford a 4-year university. I was a first-generation college student. I didn't have any external financial support for college, so I didn't think it was even a possibility for me. So if Brad Tate hadn't have called me that day, I would have went to Somerset Community College. Not that there's anything wrong with that school. It's just, I think that was where God led me. Like, I think that phone call changed my life, because my experience at Lindsey Wilson, it really shaped me into the person I am today. I don't know who I would have been if it weren't for Lindsey Wilson.
So I'll throw this out to both of you. We're in year 1 of Lindsey Wilson University. What's that mean? What's it been like on campus during this first year of Lindsey Wilson University?
For me, I started over the summer feeling like just a lot of newness. Like, I like change to a certain degree. And so not necessarily people in my life, but just things in my life. I like the change because I like newness. And so it just felt so new, and there was like an energy on campus that was unmatched to previous years. I think students were excited to see some of the changes, some of the unknown, all of the new signage that got put up on campus, the mural, the banners. I think students were excited. I was excited just to see how all of it plays out. And I think we have strengthened who we are in this whole process, and we've kind of reevaluated and reestablished who we were. And I think that students feel that. I feel that as a staff member. I feel like we've put ourselves on the path more boldly of focusing on every student every day. And I really hope that students feel that.
This sends a message of hope to the world that this university is focused on the individual student and not the general population. And I think that's an important message to send.
That's Allison Cross. She's the Director of Alumni Relations at Lindsey Wilson University. You also heard from Annissa Crewe-Brown. She's the Director of Career Services at Lindsey Wilson. Once again, Career Week will be coming up, the inaugural Career Week, November 3rd through the 7th. For more information about that, you can check out the news section in the Lindsey Wilson website. To get there, point in your internet browser to lindsey.edu/news. And that's going to do it for this 10th edition of View from the Hill for the 2025-2026 school year. Also, be sure to encourage your friends, coworkers, associates, family members, and neighbors to subscribe to A View from the Hill. They can do that on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and the college's YouTube channel. View from the Hill is produced by Shelby Burton. She's Lindsey Wilson's Assistant Director of Public Relations and Media Producer. Until our next edition, I'm Dwayne Bonifer in the Lindsey Wilson University Office of Public Relations. Thanks so much for listening. So long, everybody, and have a nice day.